So we have locals today. It is Tuesday, but we do have two locals every week for those that don't know. One on Saturday and one on Tuesday. They both start at the same time, and they're both 4 rounds. Now, a little bit of a different crowd shows up on Tuesday than Saturday. Saturday is a bit more competitive, and Tuesday is a bit more rogue, I would say, but it's still an opportunity for us to practice and test out a new experimental build of Speedroids that features a Battle Wasp engine. I tested this on my stream last night, and I'm glad I did because I was thinking about just letting it slip under the radar. But this version of Speedroid has a much higher power ceiling, boards where we can end on per se 4 monster negates plus hand traps, or boards with Wrap Tight, 2 monster negates off Cicada King and Sting the Poison, and a Totem Bird. So if you ask me, it seems like the build to at least give a chance in a tournament setting because of the boards it can put out on a consistent basis with just really 2 card combos. It is about 5 o'clock right now. Local starts at 6:30. There's a few things I got to do before I leave. The first is make a few thumbnails, and the second is put together that build before we get there. Only thing I'm worried about is just not having enough hand traps specifically. I mean, I guess we could just play 3 Droll and 3 Ash, since Ash doesn't necessarily have to negate monsters, and Droll is just in general good for shutting off other cards our opponent might try to activate that we'd have to burn negates on in the first place. Alright, so I just came up with a little bit of an idea right now. We want to get Sting to the graveyard, mainly through that of Win the Wind Channeler. But if, per se, we can drop down the number of normal summons we can play in the main deck, the better. Strictly because I just do not want it to clog. And I'd rather open a copy of Foolish Burial than an additional copy of Sting, because Foolish can do 3 things. 1, it can get Sting to the graveyard if we already have the combo established. 2, it can send Dendendaiko Duke to the graveyard if we do not have access to it. And 3, it can send pretty much any Speedroid monster to the grave, Terror Top mainly, to revive off of something like Speed Recovery to get our plays going there. I think it's not the greatest replacement, but it also will just keep us from having to clog with too many normal summons, and it'll keep our starter cards right at around 13. Alright, I made one last minute change to the main deck. I'm going to keep it a secret for now, but we're just going to see how it plays out, because there's only one way to find out whether or not it'll be good, and that's to play it. But we gotta leave and get there ASAP. So now we're going to go over our matches for Tuesday, and in round 1 we did get the bye, lucky enough for us, but it was also kind of nice because I was running a bit late and I didn't have to worry about keeping my opponent waiting, so that was fine and dandy. Then we move into round 2. Our first opponent of the night was a Prank Kids player. Now Prank Kids is one of those decks that I feel like every time I play against it, it's always a very weird matchup because I just have no idea what any of the cards do, and then I just don't play against it for months on end, which is the case here. So this is my first time playing against Prank Kids for several months. The deck can play so well on your turn and do so many different things, and fusion for Battle Butler and Nuclear Field and everything. But the main issue for this particular game is that here he ends on Totally Awesome and Abyss Dweller, and the Abyss Dweller was just so huge. I didn't really care too much about the Toad, and it just forced a really awkward turn, and it turned off my graveyard, which turns off, of course, Card Turbo, and more importantly, Dendendaiko Duke, which pretty much shut our whole turn down. And then next turn, he was just able to put on, a Boral Sword, and that was going to pretty much spell game. And we're on to game 2, and in game 2, I opened so poorly that I'm forced to just end on Rubber Band Shooter with Terror Top. I just fumbled so badly, and again, it was just another really awkward hand, which maybe looking back, I could have played it out a little bit differently. But luckily for me, my opponent starts with Desires, and he banishes all copies of Polymerization from his deck, and is just forced to, I believe, set 1 monster and pass. And then that gives us another turn to freely play, where we're able to swiftly OTK with Crystal Wing, Hama the Conquering Bow, and a Leviair. So we were able to swiftly take game 2 once we get our engine rolling. So in game 3, we're off to a pretty strong start, and luckily for us, our opponent did not open up super well at all. But we're able to get all the way into Auroradon, and then as I said earlier, the deck can play very well on your turn, and he's able to fusion into the Battle Butler, which blows up our entire field on the resolution of Auroradon, which forces us to just end on 1 rank 3. And I decide for this instance, the best play would be Totem Bird, but I was wrong. It was a very simplified game state, and I should have gone for Cicada King simply because it has a high defense. And looking back on it, if I would have made Cicada King, I don't think he would have been able to get over it in the battle phase like that of Totem Bird. And who knows, it could have perhaps bought us an additional turn. He was afraid of Nibiru. We didn't have it. I did have Dark Ruler the following turn, but I just didn't have much to follow up after that. So unfortunately, we do lose 2-1 to Prankids in round 2. So now we move into round 3, where we play against Dark Magicians. He goes first, ends on an okay board, I believe, with the circle and maybe a couple other back row. And we actually open, for the first time, our Battle Wasp Speedroid combo, but unfortunately for us, he does use the Magician's Circle on that of the Sting the Poison, which I believe does throw off our combo since we need Sting and Grave, and we no longer have access to it. So we had to make a bit of a plan B, and we end up going to Hama the Conquering Bow alongside that of Crystal Wing, and pretty much OTK him. He does get 1 additional turn, but there's nothing else he can do with that Crystal Wing staring him down, and, you know, game on board following next turn. So we move into game 2, and in game 2, he goes first, sets up an okay board. Luckily for us, he's not able to get access to Dragoon, which is perfect, and we're basically able to go into a Kite Drake and wipe the field and put up, I believe, a Totem Bird and just push for damage, and then there's nothing else he can do on the following turn either. And that just pretty much ends up being round 3 in a nutshell, and we move into round 4. As our record is 2-1. So now here we are in the 4th and final round, and we end up playing against a Paleo Artifact deck, which is very, very strange. Wasn't expecting it. So he ends up going first, and, you know, as you would expect, sets a lot of cards and passes it over to us. We actually do open Foolish Burial alongside that of Double Yo-Yo. So what do? We dump Terror Top and then immediately follow up with the normal summon for Terror Top, and I go right to Totem Bird as sort of a protection plan, and we're able to then go into our Rubber Band Shooter and secure ourselves a Crystal Wing. And we did open Judgment that turn too, but I believe he ended up getting that card off the field with one of his Paleozoic monsters. But, you know, the next turn, we're able to put another Crystal Wing on board and just push for a game. I believe we also had a copy of Forbidden Lands too, which also helped protect our OTK. And then we move into game 2, where of course he goes first again and passes it back to us. We open a very strong board. You know, we have Terror Top, Marble Machine. We're trying to resolve that of Teke Tomborg, and he flips up Artifact Ignition. And good thing I read it, because we did have a Cosmic Cyclone in hand, because in order to use Artifact Ignition, he needs to target a set spell trap on his side of the field and destroy it. So I just chained Cosmic to that target, banished it for the the ignition was able to resolve, and luckily I did that, because that got rid of an Artifact Scythe, which would pretty much have just ended our turn outright, and we just pretty much proceed to take the game from there very, very swiftly, and we end the tournament 3-1. Only loss we ended up taking was to that of Prankids, and of course we did get a bye, but was still nice to take this variant of the deck out in a tournament setting.
Understand how cancerous that format was. It was great. Yo, Senju's was the great equalizer. Okay.
No. Vanity's emptiness was.
And Vanity's emptiness. Haters gonna hate, yo.
Skill drain, emptiness. So what did you play tonight?
A really bad deck. I played the Trap Trick Dogmatica deck. Don't ever play Trap Tricks. They lose to Lightning Storm, they lose to Duster, they lose to Dragoon. Just don't play those cards. Just play Dogmatica with anything else.
You did not have fun tonight,
No.
It's safe to say.
No, just play Dogmatica Dino, Dogmatica Invoke, Dogmatica Zoo, anything.
Dogmatica Zoo is the best version.
Dogmatica Zoo, 100% all day.
Alright, it is Wednesday, my dudes, and we've got some packages to open. This package straight from the Netherlands, so some of you already might know what it is. And here we got a package from Imperium Duelist. which nothing super special. I would consider it maybe more of just like a sleeve restock, because in here we have 6 packs of their armor sleeves in yellow. So because I don't know, I had a set of these already that I've been using, and I just really like the yellow color with the black inner sleeves. It looks really nice, so we have restocked on those, all set for plenty of dueling with those dueling sleeves. Oh, and there's a pack of green Illusion Effect sleeves in here too, the old formula. All right. Well, I'm not opposed of just bonus sleeves, so we'll take that, I guess. But in here is what we're really after. So yeah, this is a package from the Netherlands. So yeah, someone in my Discord was kind enough to hook me up with some foreign Speedroid cards. Because he lives in Europe, I believe, and has access to get pretty much like a ton of different languages, but he was kind enough to like hook me up with Speedroid cards. So let's see what we got in here. I don't want to spoil it right off the bat, but all nice and top loaded up. So let's see. Ooh, I'm so excited for this, because like getting foreign cards is just like way harder than it should be. I don't know. Some people just have no problem with it, but like every time I get a chance to get some foreign cards, I'm always very excited, especially since it's Speedroid stuff, and like the stuff is usually pretty cheap anyways. So like, all right, so right off the top here we have 3 German Teke Tomborgs, and these look so good. Then we have, I believe in this pack here, we have our marble machines right there, and then wins on the back in German as well. We've got German speed recoveries and Starfoil. I actually don't have this card in that rarity. The Geschwindigkeit Serholung, I probably butchered that. And then the double JoJo. Oh my god. And then last but not least, we have Denden Daiko Duke on here, and then on this side we've got the Car Turbo. Oh man, I'm so excited to get these sleeved up and in the deck. Hell yeah. So if you're watching this, thank you for hooking me up with these, man. I really appreciate it. We got another package in. Oh, by the way, it's also Thursday right now, but we got another package in from Imperium Duelist. I think I know what's in here, so let's go ahead and crack it open. It's pretty big. This is so well packaged. Alright, so we have actually 2 packages here in one. So we'll open that one in a moment. And then here is the bigger package, which I think this is the binder. Their newest binder, their 4x3 binder. I just gotta unpack. Oh wait, I think there's more stuff in here than just the binder. Hold on, I gotta take a seat. There's definitely more stuff in here than just the binder, but let's keep going here and unraveling the mystery of this package. This has to be one of the hardest packages I've opened. Okay. Alright, so yes, we do have some sleeves in here. We have more of their Perfect Fit Illusion sleeves. I've actually been really liking these to use on extra decks, so I'm glad I actually got more of these. We got more of the shatter foil type effect, like the DT type effect, alongside the prismatic parallel. More tournament armor sleeves. Yellow, my new favorite color to use right now, and it looks like more white as well. Another color that I've been using on the extra deck for quite some time, and here it is, the binder. Oh my god. Wow, that is a sleek looking binder. I love that texture on it. Oh wow. It's a little bent from shipping, but I'm sure it'll flatten out over time. We'll get this filled up with some cards in a little bit, but let's see what's in this other box. Oh. Alright, so I didn't know this came in its own little separate like packaging here. Look at this. It's a little smushed from the shipping. Because this thing was taped on top of the binder. But look at that. I didn't know they had this. They upgraded since the last time. Again, thanks to the postal workers, this has been absolutely crushed, but at least the precious cargo inside is fine. Wow, that is a sleek looking deck box right there. Because this is how they used to just package them. It used to be like this, the shrink wrap over them, and now they have an actual box for it, which is super cool. That's nice. Look at that. It's got the dark attribute logo and everything. That is so cool. That is so cool. We just need a water attribute or a wind one, because we're playing Speedroids right now. And that would be, could you imagine a lime green looking like wind attribute deck box? That would be something special. Ooh, and it's got the black and silver on the inside. I like that. A little pack of silica gel, gotta love it. And then in here we got our classic dice tray. That is a nice deck box. I think we're putting our main deck in here. We're putting Speedroids in the dark deck box. It's gonna throw a lot of people off, I'm sure. But let's crack open this binder. It's got a zipper in it. And it's got white pages too. I love white page binders just because it accents the cards so well. And there it is. It's got the little pocket here for like deck lists and stuff, which is nice. Plenty of pages. I do my play sets vertically with this style with the 4x3. And that looks sleek. There's one test this binder will have to pass, and we'll see if we can pass it. I'm like a bit of a binder aficionado, so we'll see if it passes the test. But we gotta get this thing filled up with cards and stuff, and we'll see. I'll get back to you guys on that with a little bit of a review / update. But thank you for joining me for the second mail day this episode of One Deck, 1 Month. All right, everybody, welcome to Friday. I wanted just to do a quick little update because I'm about to go to a friend's house to do some play testing. He lives a little ways away, so we got a little bit of a drive ahead of us. But I'm just currently finishing up rendering a new live duel, which was the Subterror Numeron deck versus Invoked Mech Knight. The video should already be out by now, so if you haven't checked it out, go do it. But we're going to take a look at the deck list real quick because there's a few important things that I want to point out about where the list is and where we'll probably take it going forward. Also been brushing up on this book a little bit as well, just to sort of recheck a few things. But yeah, here's the list. There's the top row, which are all of our starter cards. I believe we're maxed out at around 14. Then we have our extenders, a majority of them superior, our 3 additional extenders there. By the way, the Quick Draw Synchron is the newest addition to the deck. My philosophy behind it is basically a 4th copy of Win. Because sometimes a discard outlet for this particular deck is pretty important, whether it be getting something like Duke or Sting to the graveyard with our new combo, or just setting up like double yo-yo plays or synchro plays because it is a level 5 tuner and it is a machine. And then we're going down here where we have our defensive cards. We have Droll, Nibiru, Ash, and then triple tactics, and then our engine requirements, Blue Impala and Sting, and then of course our Upstart Goblin. The extra deck is relatively unchanged from before. But basically, an important thing is these 9 cards right here. This is where we have the most room to work with. And those 9 cards have been changing back and forth the past couple days because I've already tried some things that I know work, like Lancey. I like that card. Obviously, can't get any more value out of testing it continuously, so we're just trying new things, trying different things from the hand trap lineup, trying different techs, different power cards like talents. When I go to test this list tonight, I'll probably swapping out hand traps and things like that just to see which ones sort of complement our boards best. Also, one last thing, this new binder from Imperium, I love it. It holds so many more cards, obviously because it has an extra row per page, but it's 30 pages. Like, I fit pretty much my entire other binder in here and have like room to spare. This is where the 3-ofs end, like the play sets, and then we go to sort of like the random stuff, and like there's just still so much room. We go all the way to the spells, where we have more 3-ofs and everything, like, and then all the way to the traps. Like, there's just so much room in this binder, and I love it. And it passes the sit flat test, which when it's like really full, all the pages sit flat because the spine of the binder is really wide. which is the problem I've had with other binders. And this binder luckily passes that test. So if you guys want to pick up the binder, go ahead and do so at the link to Imperium down below and use that discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout and grab one of these snazzy new deck boxes. But yeah, we're going to go test, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for locals and update you guys with anything in between then if I need to. Right, so we're going to go into the tournament report segment of this video. I want to make this part a little bit shorter because I've got something that's going to take a little while planned for after this segment. And we're also going to change things up in the fact that we're going to do the feature match, the in-depth feature match in round 1 here as opposed to a later round. That's just kind of how things ended up playing out. But we did play against my friend Adam. We got paired up against each other round 1. You know, what are you going to do? It is what it is. And he ended up playing Invoked Dogmatica, which kind of threw me off a little bit because I was admittedly expecting Zodiac Dogmatica since that's what he was playing the night before during testing. But either way, we'll get into this one here. I do lose the dice roll, and he ends on Mechaba with Shaddoll Schism, a Fleur-de-Lis in hand. He had also Maximused us during his turn, forcing us to send a Chanbara and a Kite Drake. Kite Drake tries to activate. It goes through. We search a Terror Top, but then he is able to use a triple Tactics talent in his hand to put back said Terror Top into the deck, and also, of course, getting that hand knowledge, and also seeing that we hard opened the blue Impala in that hand. And then, you know, it's a pretty stacked field on his behalf, but we started our turn with the Dinotherium. Luckily, the effect is not able to resolve because there's no legal targets. And then we're able to summon Card Turbo. And, you know, luckily these are all inherent summons, so he's not able to chain Schism directly to any of them, which just gives us a huge advantage here. Because once he sees the tuner and the non-tuner hit the board, knowing that, you know, we're playing a Synchro deck, he goes ahead and flips up that Schism, drops the Winda on us. We then Synchro into Fast Dragon using our 1 special summon. And here we attempt to drop that Winda to 0/0 and negate its effects. And I was expecting the Mechaba to respond here, but it is actually a Fleur-de-Lis because I don't actually think he searched that card during his turn. At least I don't remember him doing so. So he does use the Fleur on the Fast Dragon. And then I end up, you know, using a triple tactic talents of our own to steal his Mechaba. Luckily, he doesn't have a response for that, and we're able to go into the battle phase to run over the window for 300 points of damage, which is great. And then at this point, we're able to summon Pin, Link for Rubber Band Shooter, banish Hama the Conquering Bow, reveal both Rubber Band Plane and Tekatomborg. We do get Rubber Band Plane, and we're luckily able to speed recovery back the Tekatomborg, tag it out for Duke, and here we have a level 8 Synchro opportunity. You know, our field is currently consisting of Plane, Duke, Mechaba, Shooter, and Fast Dragon. But at this point, my Kite Drake's in the graveyard, Hama the Conquering Bow is banished. I don't even have a level 8 Synchro play at this point, which is super, super unfortunate, because if we had a Kite Drake play at this point right now, it would be absolutely devastating for our opponent to have to deal with. But, and this is really one reason I think going forward, I do want to play 2 Kite Drake within the extra deck and drop the Hama the Conquering Bow for the time being. Because basically from here on out, we go ahead and link into Auroradon, and we can't actually resolve its effect because the Mechaba is on the field, and based on the new rules and regulations surrounding COVID, you know, you're not supposed to, you know, put your opponent's cards on your field. So I didn't actually fully realize that his Mechaba was on my board. At least it just kind of threw me off. I mean, like, oh yeah, that's right, it's on my field technically, even though it isn't on my field. But it's fine. I still go through the Auroradon play. I still commit to it. But we tribute off his Mechaba with Auroradon and pop a card. So we're actually able to clear 2 cards of his own off of just the Auroradon, which is super nice. So we remove the Maximus, so we can't keep draining our extra deck next turn and get more advantage on his behalf, which I feel like looking back was the best hit. Maybe it was the Meltdown in hindsight, because next turn he's able to go into Algodes and use the pop effect on summon, and Fast Dragon's not going to be able to respond to that, and then he's going to drop another Fleur and hit our board with the droplets, you know, to have all the attacks of our monsters that we had and just OTK us, and that ended up being game 1, unfortunately. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at game 2 here, where I go first, I believe. Yeah, I think we ended up going second here in game 2, but either way, I opened up Sting, Win, Droll, Pank, and another card, but he starts with Desires. I hit it with a Droll. He does get lucky enough to have the one of Called by the Grave, but then again, I guess we got lucky in the fact that we opened the one of Pank, so it kind of balances out, I guess. So yeah, he's able to get Ecclesia on the board, grabs a copy of Punishment, and just sets it and pass. I start my turn with Pank, run over the Ecclesia, and pop the Punishment because I just do not want to deal with it. And then I think I pitch Win and something else, and he goes ahead and uses an Ash Blossom there. And I just have to pass, unfortunately, because I don't have any other follow-ups. And in some hands, Ash on Win just is so devastating because it is quite literally a -2. In most cases, you're able to make up for the -2 with the Terror Top that you're going to be searching off of it. But obviously, that's not always going to be the case, unfortunately. It's just kind of a give and take that comes with a card like Win the Wind Channeler. But either way, the game goes back and forth, and I'm stuck with this Droll that in my hand for a few turns that I had, and I just was never able to resolve it because he never gave me the opportunity to. But I eventually get to Shooter with Cicada King, and then I'm attempting to use the additional normal effect with the Droll that I have. You know, turn to defense, effect to revive Sting, and he goes ahead and negates that with an Effect Veiler, which was huge at the time. And then he's able to resolve a Maximus later, and we're able to send a Kite Drake and a Chambara, and we're actually able to resolve both the effects of Chambara and Kite Drake to add back, I think, a banished Tekatomborg, and add back a banish or a Terror Top from deck. But it doesn't matter because he's able to OTK that turn regardless, so we don't actually even get a chance to use those cards. So we do take the loss there in that match, round 1. 2-0, very, very unfortunate. I feel like I may have made some slight tech play errors. But I feel like that loss was mainly just due to deck advantage on his behalf. But it definitely opened me up to wanting to make some changes to the deck, specifically in the extra deck regarding that Kite Drake, because there's been so many times that, you know, having a second Kite Drake would have been so valuable. And that was just one of those situations, and I think it's going to be the situation that mainly drives me to ultimately make that change. And like I said, I'm going to keep the rest of the tournament report short here. Round 2, we lost 2-0 against Domain Monarchs. Game 1 had Vanity's Fiend. Game 2 had a Domain of the Monarchs. What are we going to do? Round 3, we played Heroes. It was a very, very swift 2-0. I just have like 3 hand traps from Game 1. I Ash a Hero Lives, and then he Verde Anacondas for like Rainbow Neos, and we just Ogre it, and he's down to 2k, and we just kill him with a Chambara. And then round 4, we played against Pendulum and Endymion. We actually do go to a game 3, but we're able to OTK with a very weird set of monsters, being Auroradon, Leviair, and Raptite. And they're all boosted up by that of Card Turbo. It is enough for a game, and we kind of took that game right there in game 3. So this week our record was 2-2. It was a very rough week, but let's go ahead and take a look at the deck now in detail, the changes that I want to make going forward. And you know, everything sort of leading up to this point. All right, so for this portion of the video, I want to take a little bit of time to take like a deep dive into the deck, talk about you know, the progress this deck has made up to this point, since we are at the halfway mark now. You know, things that I sort of noticed from tonight's tournament as well, and the things that I want to address going forward. One thing I do want to say about this deck overall, obviously it is a rogue strategy. It is not a tier 1 strategy by any means. It's still like surprisingly a very decent, you know, sort of mid-range combo deck. I really, really do enjoy it, and I think it has actually some decent potential. I would even go so far as to say even at like regional levels, with just like the proper ratios and just like the right meta calls, I think this deck definitely has the potential to do it. Maybe not currently, but definitely post Phantom Rage, because we are getting some great Datascape support. As you know, as Aerosol TCG has brought to light in his most recent Battle Wasp tutorial combo video. You guys should definitely check that out. I watched it before you know, locals today, right after I got back from testing. Very excited to see that video get uploaded. He actually sent me a little bit of a sneak peek, so huge shout outs to you for doing that. Go show the man some love. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Link to his channel and his video down in the description below. definitely go check out the man because he does great work for this deck. But leading up to this point, we made a lot of changes. Going to the Battle Wasp engine, obviously, it's been good. I've learned so many new combos about the deck. I've learned obviously a lot of weaknesses and its hand traps. Lo and behold, this is one of those formats that like maybe this deck could shine in a format where less hand traps existed, and I don't think that will happen until Halka-Fibrax goes, unfortunately. But it's like, again, it's a very solid deck. We just do need to like extra deck flexibility is a huge problem right now, and for me specifically, side decking with this deck has been a little bit, touch and go. I do have some new ideas, but mainly we'll just go ahead and talk about, I'll throw the list up on the screen right now of what I played at locals, and then we'll talk about the changes that I'm making going forward. So I did play Harpy's Feather Duster in the main. It's okay. I think I would just rather side it going forward and sort of keep it out of the main because like it's not a combo feast. We're going first deck. It doesn't really make sense to sort of main deck and commit the spot to it. We did play over 40 cards because we are running, at the time we were running Pin and Blue Impala, which were obviously hard bricks. And obviously we can space those out a little bit, the more, the better. And I'm actually glad we did that because like the only time I think I drew one of those garnets was round 1, game 1, where I opened the Blue Impala. So like I think, and mathematically it checks out. Playing the higher card count will help us, space those bricks out, decrease the chance of drawing them, and our chances of still seeing, 1 to 2 plus starter cards is still very, very high. Obviously, we want it to be with our, 14 card starter range. The side deck, I played a card called Blizzard, mainly because I wanted to test it versus Anti-Spell Fragrance. For those that don't know what Blizzard does, I'll put it up on the screen. But the card was okay. I only resolved it against a Monarch deck, and was able to put back Stormforth and Pantheism. It did buy us a few turns because I did draw the card 2 turns in a row, which is obviously unfortunate. But I think Anti-Spell has a lot of potential in here, mainly because we can still use Speed Recovery in the graveyard under Anti-Spell, and we can also turn off our own Anti-Spell via Kite Drake, and also a nice little segue into Kite Drake. As I had mentioned before during the tournament report, I do want to play a second copy of Kite Drake, mainly because I just think we'd get more utility out of playing a second Kite Drake than we do playing a Hama the Conquering Bow. Now, granted, in most of our combos, we do have to banish a level 8 Synchro, but maybe that can sort of be bypassed by playing more copies of Rubber Band Plane. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe just using like Rubber Band Shooter's effect less in general, because I found some instances you just straight up don't need to use it. You're just using it to sort of like link climb into Auroradon to get those higher ceiling plays. But I think that's overall. In our hand trap lineup is something I changed too. We were running the 3 Droll, 3 Ash, the 2 Ogre. The hand trap lineup was fine. I just want to run less hand traps and run more wind hand traps. So I'm just back to 3 Mourner, 3 Droll. Droll is fantastic every time I saw it. It was just a great card. It's just so good. And some of my friends also agree that Droll and Lock is just so good this format right now. And, we have the ability to search it and main it and use it as a, as a discard fodder, an extender, a starter, whatever it may be. So it's a very nice sort of little, dichotomy with this deck to be able to have that synergy with Droll and Mourner. So happy to play those still. I just want to play more, sort of like all gas, no brakes type philosophy. Maybe a little bit of brake, but just more gas, I guess. We're running 3 talents now instead of just 2 triple tactics talents. Because like every time we saw that card, it was just so good. Obviously, I mean, no surprise. So I just want to go back to 3. It's a card you can draw as your 6th, even after you get hit, by something like Smoke Grenade, which you didn't play in for Noble, but it's just still a card I want to play. I would play Triple Call By, but Konami says we can't do that for some reason, so we have to make do with what we got. We'll play the 1, we'll play Lance. But we'll go through the new deck profile real quick, and we'll go through the starters first. We're still on Triple Win, Triple Marble Machine, Triple Sting. This obviously sort of breaks deck building rules. We are playing more than 3 normal summons, 3 hard normal summons. But we have a built-in Brilliant Fusion in the form of Rubber Band Shooter, so it's an exception to the rule. And we can also use Sting as an extender, which is great because we have that cross-roll functionality. And we have 2 Red-Haired Hasty Horse. Oh yeah, before we go any further, another thing I want to mention is we were playing 2 Dinotherium tonight, but I've swapped those out since for Primitive Butterfly. It basically serves the same purpose. It's just a wind extender that you can get to the board for free while you control no monsters. And it also synergizes more with your Battle Wasp cards, because if you open Pin with this card, you can just use it to extend further, which is great. Then 1 Terratop. So we're running 14 starter cards. I do like this ratio quite a bit. Then we have 3 Car Turbo, fantastic extender. Same thing alongside the Teke Tomborg, which everybody just loves to ash this card, but people also love to ash win. This card got ashed, I think, like maybe 90% of the time tonight, which is, again, another reason why I want to just play more cards like Talents and the Call by the Grave in the main deck. Rubber Band Plane, again, I thought about maybe bumping this card up to 2, but right now I'm playing a Quick Draw Synchron sort of in place of it, because Quick Draw can help get sort of like dead cards out of your hand to get a body on board that you can synchro with or link with, whatever it may be. So I really do like that, and it is, of course, a beautiful Turbo Pack Super Rare German. Last one at the shop. Luckily, I picked it up with the store credit. I've liked Quick Draw, just the one of. I was playing 2, but dropped it down to 1 because, again, I think it's just like a good alternative to having more extenders without playing a second plane. Speed Recovery, it's literally crack. You got to play it. Again, one of the main reasons I thought about running Anti-Spell Fragrance on the side, because, again, if this is in the graveyard, we can still use it under Anti-Spell. In the graveyard, not on the field, obviously. Additional extenders, double Yo-Yo and 2 Dendendaiko Duke. This ratio, I think, will remain unchanged. I just don't see the reason to really cut double Yo-Yo yet. Twinbow the Attacker, Aerosol sold me on this card. Just because, like, it's just free advantage to get off of your Sting when you're doing the Battle Wasp combo during the opponent's turn and you're reviving Sting from the grave. This card can hit the board and attack twice at 18 with Car Turbo, which is obviously a great point for helping closing out games. And if you open this in a standard sort of like mediocre hand, you can just summon this to the board and make a Cicada King as sort of like your last play, because when you summon this card, when you use its special summon effect, you get locked out of the extra deck except for insect monsters, and obviously Cicada King is the only card that we play that is insect, so it can just sort of be like a free extender sometimes. Into defense now, we have just our new 6 hand traps, 3 Mourner, 3 Droll. Love Droll to death, fantastic in here. Ghost Mourner, in the past when we played it, hasn't been bad. And I just still like the card going forward. Triple Tactics Talent at 3, because we want to see this card. It's just bonkers. Call by the Grave in there, and the double Lance again for more hand trap protection. Because if there's one thing people are playing a lot of, it's hand trap. And, this card still deals with impermanence and helps us inherently in the control matchup, which can be hard for us. Specifically, things like Dogmatica. Any Dogmatica variant. Any deck that plays impermanence, which is a lot of them, lo and behold, and just general back row decks. And then we have our 3 Garnets, which is the main reason why I've gone up to 44 cards to space these out even more. We weren't playing Warbler in tonight, which again is another thing that's changed, but I'm glad we're playing this again, because with Primitive Butterfly, you can make this card a level 3 at some point in the combo using Cicada King, or make it a level 2 even. Yeah, you can obviously make it level 2 with Primitive, and then you can like use Warblerin to synchro with this and Pin to go into Martyr and get access to it that way. Instead of using Sting and Pin, you can use Warblerin and Pin when you make it level 2. Again, got that combo from Aerosol. For the longest time, though, for the past like week or so, I haven't been playing Warblerin in here, and I missed it so much because it was just like sometimes like, oh, I know if I was just playing Warblerin, I could just get to Crystal Wing right now, but instead I have to go for Blue Impala, which isn't bad. This card can help make rank 3 plays very easily, but in some cases those don't cut it, and the Crystal Wing would just be better. But yeah, that's the main deck. That's the changes. That's what it looks like right now going forward. Extra deck, double Crystal Wing, Hama, Kite Drake. I do want this to be a second Kite Drake going forward. And maybe we start banishing a Crystal Wing for level 8s, because the double Crystal Wing play happens less and less now. So that's something I think I might do going forward. And like if we do need to make the double crystal wing, we can just banish a Kite Drake instead. Because literally late game, after getting Maximist, like not having another one of these lost me the game. And that's happened on, I think, more than one occasion. Not that having more Kite Drakes is going to win us more games. I think it's just going to convert potential losses into wins, which is very, very important. Even if we don't summon the second one all that often, it's still worth it in my opinion. Clearing Fast Dragon, I wish this, I had room to play both Wind Pegasus and this, but this card is very, very good. Just because it negates extra deck monsters, and extra deck monsters are pretty prevalent, I heard, right now. Risen Raptite. Wish I could also play Charge Warrior because there were some awkward hands where I'd have to banish a 6, and then lo and behold, there's a level 6 synchro play to make at the end of the combo, but we don't have a level 6 left because we banished it off of Shooter. Chanbra, never wanted more than one. One's the perfect number. Same thing with Hagoita. Same thing with Marcher. You know, O-Line being banned sort of forces to have us to play these two cards to raise the ceiling of our deck. Aerosol said it best. So the extra deck space is just really, really tight now. And if I had all the room in the world, I'd throw a Charge Warrior in there, I'd throw another Kite Drake in there and keep the Hama, and I'd throw another Wind Pegasus, but we just don't have the ability to do that, unfortunately. Levy or Totem Bird, still fantastic. And then still the standard Link lineup. I kind of want to cut one of these for like Wind Pegasus or something, but like this is just mandatory, you have to. And then the side deck, Pank, Dark Ruler, Blizzard, we already talked about this. I think this is just going to become anti-spell. Gozen, evenly. Oh, and the Judgments here. I didn't talk about these yet, I don't think. The Judgments, I think, will probably become Cosmic Cyclones, or maybe a Pointer of the Red Lotus when that card gets reprinted in the OTS pack, because I think that card is just phenomenal as well. Or maybe I go Savage and just side like Wind Barrier statue or something, but that's not enough, honestly. But yeah. Because I wanted more like going first against control. Because I feel like we were just lacking that. Even though Judgment is good, Anti-Spell, I feel like, can do the same thing in terms of shutting off cards like Dark Ruler No More and Droplets. Because let's be honest, most people aren't discarding traps off of Droplets. They're usually discarding monsters and spells, which is one more reason for me to not really play this card, because sometimes you won't even be able to respond to Droplet with this. But Anti-Spell, I feel like, does the better job overall. It's just these last two cards. I don't know what to make them. Maybe Nibiru, and I just cut the Pank and just side 3 Nibiru just outright for combo. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Going forward, like I said, the main hurdles we have to get over is the extra deck. I think right now the only thing I'm going to do is order another Kite Drake on TCG Player. And if you're ordering anything on TCG, don't forget to use my affiliate link down below. Maybe Lance in the main deck is something I might change to something else. Maybe add in 2 more Terror Top, Kappa Ross. No, yeah, that's another thing. Like the Lances I might just drop for something else. They were Ghost Ogres before, but I just want more room to play through cards, because right now that is our hardest thing to do, is just playing through things. And Forbidden Lance is one of those cards that allows us to do that. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of One Deck, 1 Month. It might have been a little bit longer because this segment is the end. But again, I can literally make a 2-hour video on this deck. And maybe I'll just have a new series called Theory Dump, where I just do a brain dump on everything I have to say about a deck and all my ideas. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Share this video with a friend. And hopefully you guys are still enjoying this series. Leave your suggestions and criticism and feedback down below. And don't forget to check out Aerosol TCG down in the description also. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Winterkill sign out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, a special thanks to our Divine Level channel members here on YouTube, Academic Thick, Travis Harris, Zors, and Cadillacs84. Again, thank you guys so much for generously supporting the channel as you guys have. It is very much appreciated.